when social media started to, come into being, everybody said that email marketing was dead, and actually it's still the number one form of marketing.
Welcome to Modern Publishing. I'm Victoria, author-editor and the owner of Blue Pen, and today I'm on with Michelle Cox. Do you do many in-person events, whether it's signings, festivals?
Yeah, I have to admit I don't do as many as I used to, and I think COVID kind of had a big part of that. So back when I signed on with She Writes Press, they didn't have as many authors back then, so they actually, like a traditional publisher, they organized some book tours for us. So that was pretty awesome. So we picked you pick the top cities that you wanted to go to, and so I really got to go to a lot of places that I never would have gotten a chance to go to as an indie author. So we went to LA and we went to Seattle and we did the big bookstores there, and so that was great. And then they stopped doing that, but they also would the PR company that I hired helped me facilitate some of them, and then they're like, you know what, you could probably do this yourself. You're just wasting your dollars on us for us organizing a book tour for you. So yeah, so then I did it for myself for a while, and that was fun. And then COVID happened, and then there were no more book tours, and I wasn't really interested in doing Zoom book events. It just I did a couple of them and I didn't enjoy them, and I didn't think the audience enjoyed it that much either. So yeah, I'm kind of just getting back into it, but it's I still sense some hesitancy out in the public to get back out there again. I think because people have gotten used to Zoom, or just used to not going to them at all. So I don't know. I think that it's going to be interesting to sort of watch where that goes, because the bookstores are really counting on you, the author, to fill the seats. So for me, I feel okay, I have a 7th book coming out. How many people are going to come out again to fill the seats for me? So it's hard. It's a really hard job. And here's the thing: it's fun for me to do, and it's fun to interact with authors. But how many books do you really sell? I mean, if that's why you're doing it, then I feel like there might be a better use of your time and probably money than organizing a book event. So I don't know. It's hard.
That is a very interesting question, especially because, I feel like that's something that unpublished writers would look forward to. The in-person, the book launch at their local bookstore, and I think it has this kind of maybe romanticized feeling about it. But then at a certain point, you have to transition to being practical, right? You have to sell books if you want to make a living as an author.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a hard balance, because when I first started out, I would do anything. I would do anything that anybody asked. I would write an article for this. I would go to this event. I would go to other authors' events, and I would try to support them. And if I had a book event with a bookstore downtown Chicago, I'm in the northern suburbs, I would bring them flowers, and I would have wine at my events, and I would really do it up. And I do think that helps, and that really helped build relationships, which is really important. But like I've said, I'm trying to market book 7. I'm getting the new book into production. I'll have to start marketing that. I've want to start running ads, and I'm constantly writing. So, and I have 3 kids, so it's kind of you only have so many minutes, and you have to start evaluating what's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck, either money wise or time wise.
That is a very full plate.
Yeah.
I'm curious, with you being on book 7, I know I've talked to a lot of authors about the benefits of writing series and what that can do for building your readership. And not just series, even if you're publishing standalones, once you publish 3 or 4 books, then, somebody might read your book and then go look and see what else you have published. And you're going to obviously start selling a lot more just because you have more out there. What was there a turning point where you felt like, book 3 and it just started rolling, or how much has it changed your book sales and your kind of overall ability to develop and grow your readership by having a series or just multiple books?
Oh yeah, I think that having a series is really super important, and because you can retain that readership. And especially if you're an indie author, I'm able to do it because I am with a hybrid press, so I can control the pricing. So I can tell them, hey, lower the price of this book to this or whatever. So I give the first book, either I give it away free or I sell it for 99 cents. And that's, kind of a typical strategy out there. It's called book 1 of your series is always the loss leader, because you are hoping to catch readers and retain them as it goes along. And I have a pretty healthy newsletter subscriber list too, which is really important to build, because those readers are your readers. You can have 1 million followers on Facebook or Instagram, but those platforms can go down at any minute, and then you've lost all of those followers. So it's really, really important to have a newsletter subscriber list that you can kind of go back to. And then when you do have a series, you can put a link to your next book at the end of book 1 and 2 and 3, so that it makes it very easy for readers to just click and move on to the next one.
I feel like with some of the changes happening on Twitter, we're all kind of a little more aware of the volatility of some of those platforms. And email list is, it feels old-fashioned sometimes, but it is still so important.
Well, yeah, they say that, when social media started to, come into being, everybody said that email marketing was dead. And actually, it's still the number 1 form of marketing. And it's really hard to give people to give you their email address. So you have to come up with all these sort of gimmicks. But I think it's a good thing to have, for sure.
Do you have a lead magnet? How do you convince people to give you their email address?
Well, that's interesting, because I'm kind of switching tactics. I'm taking Mark Dawson's Ads for Authors course right now. And there's so much marketing information in there that I feel like my head is going to explode. I can only do it for 20 minutes a day. It's so overwhelming. But that's one of the things that he talks about a lot, is that, you need sort of, so he talks about actually running ads to give away your first book and get an email address in exchange for that. So normally, you can tell people that, or you can put that on your website, but he's saying, no, you have to go further than that and actually not just advertise your books, but advertise the fact that you're giving away this book for free if you sign up for my email list. So that's just an interesting strategy. For a while I was giving away a free marketing guide. But I realized that that's probably not a good idea, because I'm trying to attract readers, not necessarily writers. I know writers are all readers, but still. And for a while I was doing these huge giveaways. That was my thing, where I would put together about 4 giant giveaways a year. So it would be a full set of autographed books, and I would try to stay in brand, So I write historical fiction in the 30s. So I would have a set of vintage luggage or a silk scarf or a necklace, or one time I gave away flowers every month delivered to you for a year. Or I give away iPads or something like that. So anyway, it would be a way, and then I would have a designer create like this beautiful graphic of all the prizes, and then I would put that on Facebook and Instagram and, say I'm going to choose one newsletter subscriber to win this package. So sign up here, and I got thousands of subscribers that way. But and some of them converted into readers, some of them didn't. So I'm going to try this other strategy and see how that works.
I feel like advertising your first book for free is something very specific for someone who does have several books out there. Like, of course, if you only had one or two books, that wouldn't work as well. But it is so important when you're doing that kind of thing to think about exactly who you are trying to reach, because it doesn't do you any good to have a list of folks who are not interested in your book or what you're trying to sell.
Yes, I agree. And I'm trying to get better at that and try to really drill down into finding that specific niche. And, if you only have like, let's say 2 books in a series or two standalones, one piece of advice that I heard is that, you can write a short story, or you can write a deleted chapter, or something else, maybe a novella or prequel that will attract readers as well. If you don't want to give away, essentially half of your stock, which is, if you have 2 books, you don't want to give away half of it. So that's a different tactic that you could use too.
Yeah, there are so many things that you can do if you get creative about it. I know our mutual friend, Tanya Williams, who is a historical fiction author and has also been on this podcast. She at one point did a kind of a behind the scenes look at one of her books in the research that went into it and kind of the true stories. There's so many things that you can do to both get those email subscribers and then engage them.
Yes.
Because of course, once you have them, you can't stop the train. You gotta continue.
Keep it going. Yeah, it's exactly. And I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying about marketing or trying to get the readers who are going to be interested in your stuff. Because if you do get that type of person on your list who enjoys your books, then they're going to enjoy getting a newsletter from you because they want to know more about your books. They want to know where you're going to be having a book event. They want to know more about you and your personal life. So those are the people that are going to not put your email or your newsletter in spam, and who are actually going to open it and engage with it and actually look forward to it. So yeah, it's kind of definitely the goal to get that person.
Thanks to our viewers for hanging out with us today. I hope this conversation has inspired you to blaze your own trail in the publishing industry. The full podcast episodes are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Modern Publishing. You can also head over to bluepinbooks.com/modernpublishing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Happy writing, and I'll see y'all next time.